por favor. Tú tienes 5 minutos para el antemano hoy. Tú tienes 5 minutos para el antemano hoy.
Hola.
Hola, siéntate por favor.
Ryan. Hola.
5 minutos para el antemano.
Ryan.
Es miércoles. Christian, you're back. I should see all of us with our computers open. We have to practice the subjunctive just so that we don't forget how to use it. Tienes más o menos 5 minutos para el antemano, por favor. I could. Or you guys could scroll down. Just saying.
Just saying, like, or you say if said person is running late.
Would you like to buy chocolate for $1?
Not right now.
Not today.
Hunter, antemano, por favor. Por favor, dime aquí. Michaela. Aaron.
Here.
Mackenzie. Here. Grace. Here. Christian.
Here.
Grant.
Here.
Jasmine. Here. Gil.
Here.
Ryan.
Here.
Alyssa. Here. Rushpreet.
Here.
Maddie.
Here.
Alyssa. Here. Joe.
Here.
Michaela. Here. Raj.
Here.
Marianne. Here. Emily. Here. Lucy. Here. Monica. Here. Sophie. Here. Colin.
Here.
Nigo.
Aquí.
Giovanni.
Here.
Garrett.
Here.
Haley. Hunter.
Here.
Alexandra. Brian. Here. Sam.
Here.
AJ.
Here.
Nigo, I saw your name. Not your name specifically, but Inigo at the end of the credits on a show I was watching the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a movie star. Do you not know that?
Well, he I think was a producer in that
Inigo
one.
Montoya.
Were you not here yesterday?
No, I wasn't. I rushed.
I would probably just ask someone because the Google system changes every day. So if you didn't get yesterday's, I would ask someone who did.
So I put yesterday's afternoon on Monday.
Just copy and paste it down.
Okay. But I just noticed it today, I'm like, it's yesterday's, and I thought, wait.
Joe, ¿estás terminado? ¿Estás terminado con el antemano aquí? Step a little bit. Do you know what that person says in English? You know what that first sentence starter means? Yeah. So like I advise that you use something. You can use anything you want. Remember, after the K is when you're going to use this subjunctive. levanta la mano si estás terminado. So you would qualify as terminado, right? Mira, un minuto más. Un minuto más. ¿Cómo? Because of all of the scheduling changes, nothing is set in stone yet. It's my goal today during the fourth period to go back to the schedule and decide if my original plan is still going to work or what adjustments we need to make, because we're not going to take assessments before we're ready.
Ryan. This is not funny.
I prohibit that you go
I don't know.
outside your zone fuera. So you want to say you go
Ryan.
Bueno, clase, based on our voices, it sounds like more of us are done than not. If you are not, you can always come back to this and finish it up a little later. I want to tell you about what we're going to do today. Repaso de hipótesis. So when you drew these people the other week, this was kind of like your hypothesis about what you thought people in other countries are going to be like, what kind of jobs they would have, what their day would look like. We've since done a lot of research about life in both Spain and Latin America, as far as what time you wake up, what kind of jobs are common, what does your work day look like. And these original ideas of people may or may not be accurate. Now that you know what life is realistically like in these countries, you're going to go back to your person.
Oh man.
Yeah, oh man is right. Because some of us are in mind, we didn't know anything we were doing, just made up something fun, not at all realistic. In a moment, I'm going to release you. You're going to get back with the people that you originally created your person with and compare what you wrote and what you drew about that person with the research that we've done to decide if what you put was realistic. I'm anticipating that we're going to find some things that are not realistic. I want you to pick 3 concepts that you think you should correct about your made-up person and tell me about them on Classroom. You'll comment on Classroom with your group members' names and 3 things you think were unrealistic or that you would change based on your initial hypothesis of a person.
Where do we comment that at?
On today's announcement, you can just comment on today's announcement.
Descriptions to.
That's the, you see where it says Wednesday, one.
I got you. The one says
Let's talk
Wednesday,
about that.
the long one right there. We kinda-
All right, get with your group. You have about 10 minutes to do this.
Let's go talk about it.
Then you need to provide me with some kind of insight.
Let's go. Man.
AJ.
Wait, did you have class yesterday?
Huh?
You have class yesterday?
Yeah.
Is your Sean in class?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, I dropped out.
Did you guys get a picture?
Oh yeah, Gil's getting it.
Gil's getting it? Okay.
Gil, get the picture.
Ryan.
Playing Gil was being so
Is that ice?
stupid yesterday. Every time I play Fortnite with him, he was like,
Give me that bag. That's not for you guys. That's for Spanish 2 shopping.
every time we died, he'd be like,
Calm. It's so easy.
Hi, we Gucci. She showed us. She played.
I don't want to sit right here.
I was like, nah, I don't want to sit in here either.
Right there. I didn't know she had Oh. That's where I live.
What? That's not even fair.
Who else you gonna ask?
Hunter, are we focused on our task?
100%. We're asking about this.
Quit waving at it. We're listening to your you guys tell me something insightful. What do you think was inaccurate about your original guesstimate there?
Well, I mean, I guess people could be roofers in Mexico.
Based on their daily habits, do you think it's realistic that they
yeah.
wake up at 7 a.m. based on your research?
Yes, 100%, because they gotta work at 8:30.
Prove it.
And when I do prove this, what do I get?
Satisfaction of learning.
Do I even want to prove this anymore? No.
Who's Moore's Windows do?
For, today's Wednesday, Friday.
8:30 a.m.
Where's your guy from?
Spain?
Really? Because it says Mexico.
Is it from Mexico?
Yep.
I don't have the hours. Who's the work hours for Latin America?
I'll come back when we have evidence for our statement.
That's fair. She's a widow.
Michaela, I appreciate that math is probably pretty important or whatever that. Quit waving at it. Please, let's do our Spanish while we're in. So stop waving. Grown-ups are going to watch this. Quit being like that. Yes. Okay, so it appears we have a middle-aged to elderly woman.
She's elderly. She's old.
Elderly. I was trying to be kind to your drawing. What have you found that is inaccurate about your original guesses?
She definitely doesn't go to bed at 7 p.m. because she doesn't eat dinner till 9.
It's hard to go to bed before dinner.
Have all her drink.
Yes. Probably would not be alone or live alone in that environment. That's 2. You gotta have 3 to comment on classroom.
She should be wearing more professional clothing. She has a job.
If she had a job.
She does.
Yeah,
we made her have a job.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
she makes tea.
She's a professional tea maker.
Yeah, she owns her own business
And where does she live?
in Honduras.
In Honduras. Are you sure that tea is the best option for Honduras? What would be a more realistic?
Coffee.
Yes, coffee would be more realistic. Okay, so she likes tea. I appreciate that your imagination said she liked tea, but it's much more realistic based on research that she would be involved with coffee. Good job, Grace.
So do you want to say like you?
To make ends meet.
So what have you guys changed about your original hypothesis?
Well,
His
does not wake up at 5:45 a.m.
and his dinner moved from 8 p.m. back to 9:30 because this day kind of shifted back a couple hours.
Why did his day shift back a couple hours?
Because their day starts a little later and ends a little later than ours. We start a little earlier in the day and finish a little
What
earlier.
country does your imaginary person live in?
Belize.
Belize. And you based that answer on the Latin American research, right? Not the Spain research. Joe doesn't look convinced.
And then we changed his eating time from 2:15 to 1. because he's taking a nap at 2 p.m. 15 p.m.
What do we call that nap?
Siesta.
Does everybody get a siesta?
Yes.
No, did they?
I don't know. Did they? Perhaps we should go back to all that research that we did. I will come back to
Colin,
you.
did they get a siesta? Does everybody get a siesta?
Yeah, we exchanged all the information about the Spain and Latin America with our letter groups.
So what kind of edits are we making to our imaginary person? None.
Look, Evan
She
McClung
is
just
so
submitted on the
professional.
podcast.
I don't like being on.
Oh, it's the me with the Lopez last name. So what did you get confirmed? If nothing was overtly wrong, what did you get confirmed by your research?
That
The
she wakes up
etiquette, the clothing is accurate.
and her job. She's a teacher.
That is a common job in which country?
Spain.
And is that where your person is from?
Yes.
Yes.
And she wakes up at 7 or 6.
No. Oh yeah, this is the time she eats.
It's because she has a child, though, so she kind of has to go off the child. So, I mean, it's really based on her personality and her as a person.
And I appreciate that. But based on the research, do you have research to back up your original guesses about this
If you
person?
go look on the internet, and if you have a child, you have to go do what your child wants all the time.
Well, at least you're prepared for motherhood. However, is she concerned about, what are one of her major concerns in life?
Supporting her family.
Yeah.
Does her job support her family?
Absolutely.
Well, she has a husband as well. Just kidding. I don't remember who gave her a
Yeah,
husband.
we gave her a husband.
Yeah, she has a husband who works a lot of hours because the teacher salary isn't very good for her there.
Did you look up teacher salaries in Spain?
By the way you said that.
I think we should use this magical Google machine because you need something behind your opinions. I love that you have them, but if there's no evidence,
Where are we going to put our opinions out on here?
it's a thinking activity.
So just know it off the top of our heads.
Yeah.
Okay.
And any good argument, if you don't have the evidence to back it up, it's not a very good argument.
Sophie Drew her. Doesn't she look accurate?
She looks very nice. Go put it in my drawer, AA Ron. Go put it in the drawer.
And
I'll take it for you.
Okay.
We were supposed to be confirming. What were we confirming?
Work hours.
The work hours. Have you found evidence to confirm the work hours for
Yes,
Latin
we
America?
have.
8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So he gets up at 7 a.m. and eats at 7:30 instead of 8.
I am curious, though. I do believe that there was something about how long it might take them to get to work in one of the readings.
Yes.
Do you think he could get to work at 8
Yes.
if he woke up at 7?
Yes.
I think we should go back to our information.
I mean,
I wake up at
depends on how far away they
depends
are
on how
from their
fast you
jobs.
Typically, how far are they away from their jobs? This was in one of the
I
readings.
don't know how trusty this information is because I took it from someone else, but it says a 3-hour commute.
That'd be
Is that
accurate
correct?
based on the information that I curated for you. So could they realistically get to work at 8 if they only woke up at
Well,
7?
if it's a 3-hour commute, no, but I mean, we have to know the circumstances.
Generally
If that's the
speaking,
most common, you really want to change it, we can change it.
we should probably
generally
edit
what it
that
is?
wake-up team.
They literally typically get jobs 3 hours away.
Unless you are like a self-sustaining person, if you work for a company, you're generally going to have a longer commute. Not always 3 hours, but the data says, well, then you have to drive to wherever you're roofing. So you're still going to have a good
If you're roofing
commute.
your neighbor's house.
You're getting a little,
So what do you eat breakfast? You probably eat breakfast. So if you have to work at 8, you got to be there at 7:45.
I like that we're
Leave at
thinking, but remember everything that we say,
4:45.
we should be able to back up with
Eat
information.
breakfast at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, the best pinata you've ever seen.
Yeah, there you go.
Emily, those are all
Like, you flip it.
What did we decide? Since we're so focused, put your belt away. Are you focused on your task?
Yeah, we finished.
You got a problem with belt
We
buckles?
found out everybody takes siestas in Spanish-speaking countries. like
Everybody?
Central America. When we checked our paper, everyone in Central America takes a siesta.
Did you check your paper? Did you check the content information?
Check again. I mean,
We need to go back and check that original information if we're going to say something and we're going to talk about it like
you
it's
know,
fact.
I don't think I have access to that paper.
Whose phone did you take?
That's not relevant, Ryan. Go back to your group.
Oh.
Some unfortunate soul who did not follow the rules. Every time that we do this, you have to back it up with evidence.
Not there. I don't see it. I can't get to it.
Joe, you're smarter than that. I'm sure that you can remember and find where that document is.
There it is.
My nose out, but like her hair is
Por favor, tú tienes un minuto más. Un minuto más.
1 minute more. Marianne.
Thank you, Mackenzie.
Hey, Aaron.
Un momento.
She's got your phone.
He's aware. Thank you, Sam. Sam, since you guys are done, why don't you go back to your seat? Terminate. Who needs
We're not
to be-
done yet. We have to find our evidence.
Then tell me 3 things that surprised you guys.
I don't know.
Difference in lifestyle. I think I would prefer that. I'm pretty dedicated on non-work days, but I take a nap at 1. It's like nobody, my mom doesn't call me at 1. I feel like it makes me more productive, and it really works.
My new PC, bro. My new processor. Power supply.
I don't have much of a life.
I can't imagine it is so much hotter in Springfield than it is here in July.
Then I had to buy a hard drive or mine.
Really? Like actual temperature?
So it's no movie hard drive. So nice.
We better be taking breaks at ASU because that's the temperature in the summer.
Clase, regresa a tus sillas, por favor. Regresa a tus sillas.
I was in
Regresa a tus sillas, por favor. You can put it back on the chair. Don't throw it. Don't throw it. Quit messing with
I'm
the camera.
waving in front of the camera. I'm not gonna throw it in.
Quit messing with the camera. You can put it back on the chair.
What else is surprising? Oh.
Thank you. I appreciate that you went back to the original resources and made good choices.
We had to dig. I got it.
You had to dig for it. Some of it requires a little bit of work. Por favor, mira en classroom. Get in classroom. No. All right. Today's announcement has a new vocabulary sheet attached to it called Descriptions 2. It's an extension of the professions and adjectives in which you can describe people. Had not I found it? I see it. I know where it is. It's on today's announcement. Where else can you find it if tomorrow you can't find today's announcement?
On the About tab,
On the About tab in what document?
the student resources.
The unit outline in the unit resources.
Yeah.
It's everything that you need is on that document so that you can find it. I'm not giving you that look, Sam.
Okay.
You would know if I was giving you
I'll
that
say.
look. All right, focus, Hunter. Eyes up here. So we're gonna do more windows. Why do I call it more windows? Well, it was cooler when we got to do it on real paper because the practice boxes were in a neat shape with different shapes within it. Why do we do it on paper then? Because we live in a technologically advanced world where we want to save trees, and it is good for us to use our resources that have been allocated towards us. Now, I still call it that because it gives me an opportunity to tell you about it. Spain, at one time, was invaded, and pretty much 3/4 of it was owned by African Arab people. They were called the Moors. This was like 711, way, way long ago. But it left a lot of lasting architecture in Spain. If you go to the south of Spain, it's going to look a lot different than northern Spain. And I'm getting head nods. Have you been to south of Spain? So let me rephrase. Have you been to north of Spain? Does it look
Yeah.
different how the
It
buildings
looks
are built?
different. Yeah.
What's the
It
coolest?
looks cooler in Spain. In the south of Spain.
You think it's cooler? Why do you think it's the buildings are more interesting and stuff?
Yeah, they're more like old, and I prefer older buildings than like new and modern.
I also like using this name because this is a more in-depth vocabulary practice. Go ahead and open up the assignment that is posted, what's going to be above on your stream. I know you're so excited. This is different than when we did more windows in Spanish 2. It is more in-depth. Mackenzie, why is it more in-depth? Because it is Spanish 3, and in Spanish 3, we're going to do more than Spanish 2 because you know more language. We want to use it better. So, look at the example with the box where I put the cat in it. Look, I have nowhere in English written the word cat. I have all in Spanish done things to help me understand what it is. So I have a picture of a cat. I have a synonym. I chose tigre because a tiger is a form of a cat.
Big cat.
It's a big, big cat. Opposite, I chose dog, so I wrote perro. I also wrote a description. I didn't write English cat, but I wrote a description. Un animal que dice meow. You like that? And then I wrote a sentence. Yo compré un gato el fin de semana pasada. I bought a cat last weekend. The idea is to start stripping that English from our practice, so we're always practicing in Espanol. 16. That's about half of the list. A reminder, don't choose words that are cognates. Christian, what's a cognate? Yes, you do. What's a cognate? I don't know is not an answer. What? I couldn't hear you because I people were being talky.
A word in Spanish that sounds like a word in English.
A word in Spanish that looks or sounds the same as a word that you know in English. Try not to avoid these. Artista, which is just artist with an A on it, you probably don't need an in-depth practice for that to remember it. Choose the ones that are a little bit more obscure that you think that you might have trouble remembering. Garrett?
Are we going to do this all tonight like we did tomorrow?
Friday.
Friday.
For it to be meaningful, I don't want you to do it in a rush, so it's not due tomorrow. Yes? Copy and paste a couple more for me.
Why would you say that?
I thought you said what?
If you want to, you may erase the example that was there for your benefit. If you don't feel like you need it anymore, you can edit it.
Yeah.
You have the rest of today in class to work on it and ask me questions about the format or why we're doing this or how to help you. You may discuss, check in with your neighbors. Hey, what do you think an antonym is for such and such? Anyone does not know what a synonym or an antonym is? Google it or ask me. You can't do this correctly if you don't know what those two terms from English class mean. Because we've changed the schedule, it's like we're now for the first time this semester on normal schedule. So normal Wednesday schedule has us out of here at 9:08. So you have until 9:08 to work on this and ask me questions if you need it. ¿Es el 17 de enero? Pictures do make it a little more fun. Tiny ones. I prefer the wood pencils now too.
You don't think like steel pens? I had those nice blue joy pens. I had like 30 of them. I'm down to 2.
Be a try. Let's focus on our task though. obviously have to fill in that many. Just do 16 different words from the listing. See?
Would you consider a pilot a synonym for an astronaut?
I kind of think so,
Okay.
yeah. I think that they do very similar jobs. I think that's good thinking.
Thanks.
Would you? Why do you feel like those are similar? Then put them as synonyms. This is a thinking activity. So unless you're just putting random words, as long as you thought about what you're choosing, I think it's a good answer.
In English or in Spanish?
Espanol.
Just doing Friday.
until you've been. Let's try to get like 2 done before you leave.
Just quit out.
Oh, did it just? Lucy
No,
says,
really, it just.
disconnect and reconnect if your internet bombed out. We still have class. Disconnect and reconnect. That takes 30 seconds, and you could use the rest of class to do what you needed to do. That's so cute. Raise your hand if your internet's still not working. If your internet's not working, tell me what we have up here. What is this word in Spanish? Oh, suddenly now it's working? Doesn't matter. You'll get out when the bell's ring. I want to know. Never. You're going to be in here forever and ever.
Well, luckily I brought snacks.
Good. I would not want you to starve while you're in here forever.
Really? Because first semester when I was in here, you wouldn't let anyone eat.
No, and I still won't let you eat because that's against the rules.
Well, then why did you say you wouldn't want anyone to starve? You didn't say anything about his snacks.
Because he has diabetes.
He gets to do it once.
Well, I mean, I eat here all the time. You never say anything to me anymore, so I'm just here.
You just threw yourself.
I
under
only
the
have
bus.
so much energy to be upset about so many things. So
It's usually a good thing.
now I focus on making sure that you are on task all the time. And if your granola bites help you be on task all the time, you don't leave a mess.
Yeah.
I don't broke it.
Good.
What's that? Baby strawberry. Are you filling out the planner? The planner is getting pretty full. Well, that'll be fine. So if you survive your busy week, you can go to Disney other weeks.
The third semester, the second semester, third quarter.
You gotta be almost done.
No, you're not gonna fix Spanish.
Clase, por favor. When are more windows due?
Friday.
Friday.
At the end of class, right?
And 11:59 p.m.
So you're on Saturday.
It's a short week, it's a weird week, our schedule's messed up and being fine.
I do it the day before. Me too.
Wait, Gracie, you have one on Friday?
Yes. We're gonna have one due every single Friday. For the rest of the 9 weeks. You know that packet Mr. Brown?
Yeah, here. Okay, so.
Hey, guess what? I started it. Guess how many I got done?
Oh, I know, I'm sore.
Why are you sore?
Because we've had lifting before school for swim practice. So this morning I was here at 5:45 in the weight room. You know, like you go through the workout, it's not bad, but like an hour after you finish, your arms and legs.
Whereas my husband always called it DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness or whatever.
Yeah.